So a week ago, during FBGX's FBGX's home game with me, for reasons I won't go into because I'll end up going. Oh, to get the context of that, I'll need this, and to get that, I'll talk about that bit first, and then you end up going back 4 years to the start of the campaign. So let's just say, for reasons, they've found themselves in a part of the world called the Death Plains, which is aptly named because it's got ties to the plane of fire. It is an old volcanic wasteland that is exceptionally hot, just filled with ash storms and horrible creatures that will eat you and burn you alive and things like that. And eventually they found the person that they were looking for, a fire giant by the name of Tubal. And Tubal is a blacksmith, and he works with mithril a lot. And they said, "Hey, we want a giant sword, please. Can you make us a giant sword?" And he said, "I can, but I will require something in return. You need to go and kill a dragon for me." And they said, "Oh, okay, we'll go kill a dragon. Have you got anything that'll help us kill a dragon? Have you got any like dragon slaying weapons or anything?" And he says, "Yes, I actually do have a dragon slaying sword downstairs." And they said, "Sweet, can we have it?" And he said, "I'm not just going to give you it, but if you beat me in a fight, then you prove to me that you're strong and tough like a warrior, and you're a giant, even at heart. So I'll lend you it at that point to go and kill the dragon with." So they went, "Sweet, we'll take you on in a fight, just like a friendly sparring situation." He goes, "Oh, no holds barred, but not aiming to kill, just incapacitate." And they said, "Okay." A red dragon, Joe. A red dragon. So they said, "Right, fight time then. Let's do this." And they went down into his arena, surrounded by a moat of lava around the outside of the arena. And he unclipped one of his trophy swords off of the wall, and he starts swinging it. And they're like, "Okay, yeah, we're gonna fight a giant." And then his buddy, his partner, went over to the other wall, and he unclipped two huge tower shields that are like 20 feet tall. And as he unhooks them, you notice that the top of it is open. It's got a slit, and the inside of the shield is hollow. And then he dunks his hand down into the lava around the outside of the moat, around the outside of the pit, the fighting arena. And he fills up the tower shield with lava so that it's heated and radiating heat. And then he gets another tower shield, and he straps it to that arm, and he does it again. So now this guy has got two huge tower shields, 20 foot tall, and you can't even see him behind them. And he puts them in like a snow wedge situation and starts slamming them on the ground. And he's like, "Right, let's go." So one of them's swinging a huge giant. It's a giant-sized greatsword. So he's swinging that around, and the other one's held in a big couple of tower shield situation. And then they start to fight. And it's no holds barred. Anything goes. You can use your magic, you can use your weapons, you can use your class features, whatever. And so they start fighting these two giants. Now that is a dangerous situation to be in already, because my party are level 9s, and this is why challenge rating is a bunch of bullshit. This is why I don't use the challenge rating in the stat block, because the challenge rating of a single fire giant with the sword is meant to be a challenge rating of 9, meaning that a well-rested party of 4 adventurers of that level should find it a medium difficulty fight. They should have a decent challenge out of it. I not only threw a level 9, a challenge rating 9 fire giant at them, I also threw a Fire Giant Dreadnought, which is the tower shield guy, and he is meant to be a challenge rating 14, meaning a party of level 14s are meant to have a hard time fighting him on his own. They were fighting them both together, and I gave the Fire Giants layer actions because they were fighting in their arena. So on initiative count 20 every turn, something happened, like there was a rumbling in the floor and the people had to save against falling over, or the lava erupted and bubbled from the outside of the arena and hurt people. So there was a challenge written 9, a challenge written 14, and layer actions against a party of level 9s, and I was like, this is going to be a tough fight, but I'm interested to see if they make it through. And so they went at it. So thankfully for FBGX is the bomb. And Lagan, one of the other characters in the party, had given her a dagger that I'd given to them a few weeks before, probably a few months before, let's be honest. And it was a Bane dagger. So every long rest, they can choose a particular type of creature that this dagger will do extra damage to. So the previous day, knowing that they were about to talk to some giants, he had attuned this dagger to being a giant Bane dagger. So every time it hit, it did, what was it? It's regular D4 damage plus another 2d6 or something damage each time. If it was attacking a giant, 1d4 plus 2d6, yeah. And so she had this as her main weapon for the fight. Lagan had his big greatsword, his 2d8 claymore, I think. And then you had the paladin and the warlock as well. So they were running around all over the place. Grid was stabbing him in the legs with her dagger, and because it's a dagger, it counts as a monk weapon. And because it's a monk weapon, she gets her offhand attack. So she was doing her unarmed fist attacks at him as well, punching him in the legs and things, trying to stun him. He has very high constitution, so he didn't get stunned very easily. So she's doing quite a lot of damage to this giant. Thinking tactically, they all just went for the one that they can hit, not the guy with the tower shield. Let's go for the other guy. Let's take him out first, and then we've only got to deal with one at a time. Very smart. So they had this huge fight. They're taking quite a bit of damage when it does come around to the giant's turn, because he gets to hit with quite a big force with his sword. And then the other guy, though, the other fire giant, he was literally smearing them across the canvas, because with his tower shields, he gets to move his 30 feet first, and then he also gets to do an attack where in the attack he actually gets to move another 30 feet. So from anywhere on the arena, he can move 60 feet. Just put his two massive tower shields in a snowplow sort of formation and just charge across the battlefield. If he moves through your space, you have to make a strength saving throw or be pushed with him for the rest of his turn. And if you fail that strength save by more than 5, you fall prone and get smeared. You get like rolled and crushed under the shield and smeared across the thing. So you take fire damage from the heat of the shield, you take bludgeoning damage from smacking with the shield, and you take piercing damage because on the shield there's loads of like rivets and divots that punch into you. So piercing, bludgeoning, and fire damage if you get hit with his shields. And if you fail your strength save, you get knocked over and take even more bludgeoning damage. So very quickly, he just annihilates the healer. He just goes for the paladin and bam, fucking smashes into him. And the healer goes down almost immediately from all of that immense amount of damage. I think it takes 2 of his smear attacks for him to finally get this healer down to 0. So they're having a real hard time of it. They managed to get the fire giant with the sword and not as much shielding, not as much armor. He realizes early on, I can't, like, I'm going down here. So he steps right back basically into the fire moat around the outside of the arena and says, right, come at me now. And as soon as they do, as soon as FBGX runs towards him to finish him off in the corner of this arena, she takes fire damage just from proximity of the lava, because she's within 5 feet of lava, and she takes a bunch of damage. She almost goes down from that. But she powers through, she gets all the way to him, and she stabs him until he finally goes down. And he yields. He drops his sword and puts his hand up, and he yields. He falls into the lava moat at the side, and he's like, all right, that's it, that's enough. Bloody hell, my legs are killing me. I can't believe you got through all my armor and stabbed me so much. Fine, you win. You win for now, but you've still got him to beat. And then she puts her hands out and helps pull him out of the lava with his massive gauntlet. And then they turn and they run over to try and attack this dude with the shields. So no matter where they are they're trying to not stand in a line so that he can smush all of them with his charge attack, like going across the arena. But he's so wide as a massive giant figure, and they have so little movement because they keep getting knocked prone by either the layer effects shaking the ground or his push attack. So they're knocked prone. On their turn, they can stand up half their movement, and then they've got like 15 feet to run to one side or another. And doing so means that they're always pretty much in a line in some form or another. So all he has to do is move around to the other side of them and then charge through all three of them. So very quickly, he's annihilating all of them. The healer's gone down and been healed again by a healing potion, and then he goes down again. The other guy, the main fighter guy, he goes down. So everybody's going down, and at this point, Tal's character, Grid, the half-orc monk, she has 4 hit points left. 4 hit points. They don't know this at the time, but the Dreadnought, Fire Giant, he was still on like 70-something hit points at this point. So the Paladin was at 0, hadn't made any death saves yet. So Paladin was at 0. The fighter had just been resurrected, just been healed a couple of hit points by a healing potion or something, I think, from 0. The Warlock was about half his hit points and like flying across the other side of the arena, like, oh shit, how do I fly away? And the monk was at 4 hit points. And the thing that they're fighting was still like 70. So it was not looking good. I described them. The guy is like, you can't even see him right now because his tower shields are in the way. He's just finished smashing you. So Talia turns to me and says, from level 9, I've been able to run up walls. It's one of the cool monk abilities. You can run up vertical surfaces as long as you end your turn not vertical. Like you can, as long as you run up the wall and stand on top of it rather than just running and stopping. I can run up walls, and I said, yeah. And she goes, can I run up the tower shield? And I said, it's filled with lava. And she goes, yeah, I'll probably take some damage, eh? And I said, yeah, I'll tell you that you'll take a d6 of damage for running up a 20-foot wall tower shield. A d6 damage. She's got 4 hit points. So she thinks about it. And I go, if it helps, if you do it, you'll land on his shoulders, and then I'll give you advantage on all your attacks because you'll be next to his head. And he won't be like protecting his head. And she goes, I'm going to do it. With a 50-50 chance. Because on a d6, I could roll a 1, 2, 3 and she stays alive. She even makes it up to him. On a 4, 5, or 6, she goes unconscious, along with all of her friends, effectively. So there's a 50-50 chance that she even makes it to his head, and then she's still got to attack. And with an attack, she's got to hit an armor class of 21. She has advantage, and she has like a plus 7 to it. What's your modifier to attack, FPGX? 7, plus 7, yeah. So advantage on average gives you about a plus 3-ish. So advantage and plus 7 means she's got about a plus 10 to attack. She still has to hit a 21 in order to hit him when she lands on his shoulders. So she's gonna risk taking a 50-50 chance of dying on the way to his head, so that when she attacks, she's got about a 50-50 chance of actually even hitting him with the dagger. So she goes, I'm gonna do it. I was like, fuck yeah, you are. And I'm going to give you inspiration because that is super badass. So I roll, and then I put my hands up so that they know I'm not touching the dice behind, and I get her to look over the screen. It's a 3. She gets 3 points of fire damage as she runs up the tower shield, burning her legs away. and she makes it to the top, and she lands, and then as she jumps over the top of the tower shield, I have her roll a dexterity save to see if she can even land on top of him like safely, because he's not a solid stable structure. So she makes her dex save, obviously, because she's a monk. So she slams down onto his collarbones, boom, boom. One hand grabs the top of his head, and then she goes in for a knife attack at his face. She rolls with advantage, adds it all up, 21 exactly. 21 exactly, she just hits. Then she rolls her damage, and she's got Savage Attacker, so she can reroll ones on the damage dice. She's on 1 fucking HP at this point. And the guy she's attacking has got like 70 hit points. So she rolls the damage. She pretty much, I think she almost maximizes all the dice at this stage. So she re-rolls the damage dice with the attacker, and she does a whole bunch of damage with this dagger, this knife of giant slaying. She stabs this guy in the face, and he goes, "Fucking what the fuck is that? What?" Because from his perspective, he's like an 18-foot tall giant, and he's just smeared these people across the canvas with his massive shields, and he's about to like open them up, and he's looking down there expecting to see like tiny people the size of his knee, and instead he hears this. And he looks up to the top of his shield, and over the top of it, it's kind of like imagining a very, very, very athletic, very dexterous and acrobatic 2-year-old who's just run up the tower shield, landed on your shoulders, and starts stabbing you in the face. and so he takes a bunch of damage and goes, fuck. And then he's trying to throw her off, so I have her make another dexterity check, and she's still holding on, so she gets her second attack. She rolls with advantage because she's on his face. She gets another 21, exactly 21. So just enough to hit him again. She rolls damage again. She almost maximizes all the damage dice. Stab. She's like, right, just like going for his eyes, and he's like, fuck, what is happening? How has she done this? So she, as a monk, she's attacked with a monk weapon. She can now, as a key point, she can spend a key point to take 2 more attacks as a bonus action. So she does it again. She attacks him again. I think the third one just misses, but the fourth one hits again with, I think, a 21 or a 22 or something. She just hits again. So she rolls again. She basically hits out of 3 of the 4 attacks with a dagger of giant slaying, and she takes him down from being like 70 hit points to having like 30 left. In a single round, she does like 40 damage or something to him. So she does so much damage to him that then he's like, at the end of his turn, he's still trying to thrash around. She has to make another dex save, and she still makes it. So at that point, she's still on his face, and he's got 2 massive tower shields attached to his arms. He can't do anything to get her off. And so he decides, even though he's not at 0 hit points yet, he just yields. He's just like, I can't keep going. Stop. I don't want you to blind me. And he yields the fight, and she wins the fight for them by doing the most badass thing I've ever seen at D&D. Somebody taking a 50-50 chance to even give yourself 50-50 chance on attack, knowing that he was barely even wounded yet. It was epic. It was very epic.
All hail the algorithm gods. Comment, like, and subscribe. Ooh, ah.